Hey ladies, it's Tuesday and it's Nostalgia Week.
Muda, Brenda, Jessica, Susan, Scarlett, Buda papira papa, scrata da di da da da.
So in honor of Jessica's 18th birthday, we're talking about things that we remember from when we were younger, and for most of us that was the 1990s. It was funny because I actually ended up talking with a bunch of people today about like the 90s because we were doing a research project on methods books for kids, and this one book was very much like early 90s, like on the cover, and you could tell because the guy was wearing like jeans and like a really loud t-shirt, and he was an African American guy, and he had like the fade and like with the huge hair up on top. It was like, I mean, super typical like 90s stuff on the cover. And we got to talking, and we were talking about Saved by the Bell, which is one of my favorite shows. So for all of you Zach Morris fans out there, I love Zach Morris so much. But yeah, so Saved by the Bell, it's just an interesting show. I love it. Even to this day, it's ridiculous and sometimes a little bit too after school special, but I absolutely love it. Some other stuff I remember about the 90s were Tamagotchis. I had one of those. I begged my parents to get me one, even though I didn't use it for most of the time. Also, hit clips. I don't remember if you guys remember those. Basically, it was like a little MP3 player, but you had these like little chips that you would put in, and it would play a song. But it wouldn't even play all of the song. It would be like a minute and 30 seconds. And they had ones that are like, they had collections of like, they would have the NSYNC collections would have 4 little clips of NSYNC songs and stuff. And now looking back, I can't believe I wanted it, because now it's like, you know, you can go on iTunes or whatever and get the entire album for as much as it would cost you to get the little machine and all of those stupid little things that you put in it. Like, now I know why my parents wouldn't buy it for me, because it's just like, we can just buy you the album. But of course, little Brenda was like, no, it's not the same. um, let's see, of course, boy bands. As much as I love Big Time Rush, you just can't, I mean, Backstreet Boys can't compare. LFO, Summer Girls is actually one of my favorite songs. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'll put a link in the down bar if I do, of a cover that one of my favorite bands, A Change of Pace, did of Summer Girls. Yeah, so boy bands though. Like, I feel like when I was younger, I really loved NSYNC. They were my thing. But in the long run, Backstreet Boys wins out, because I feel like their songs have lasted longer, and musically they're just, you know, they've stayed around and stayed current, even with that whole trying to get back together and then doing a tour with New Kids on the Block, and yeah, I just ignore that part. But yeah, I think Backstreet Boys, even though they weren't necessarily as popular as NSYNC, I think at the time, they have had more longevity. Let's see, what other things did I really like? We were talking about this a couple days ago. I don't necessarily like it, but do you guys remember Furbies? Yeah, they were pretty scary, and still are. I know people who've taken the batteries out and they still talk in like the back of their closet, and yeah, the Furby was probably one of the scariest things ever invented. Let's see. I don't know, I can't really think of anything else. The 90s, I think, were just kind of a fun time. Obviously, like, since we grew up in it, like, we have a bit fonder memory of it, just because, like, we were kids and that was the time when we grew up, and we would watch shows like Hey Arnold and Pepper Ann and Doug and all of those awesome cartoon shows, and it's just kind of, it's like, we look at it as, you know, the fun times in our lives, because that's when we were kids and we were growing up and just having fun. So I highly recommend, if you like the 90s, watching any of the I Love the 90s series. I think there's at least 2 of them that go through the whole decade on VH1. I absolutely love those series, so I highly recommend checking those out if you want. And yeah, that's all I really have for you guys. So Muda, it was great seeing your face twice yesterday. Jessica, I hope again you have a great birthday week. And Susan and Scarlett, I will see you the rest of the week. Bye!